Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the House of Ciphers, where I'm at. It's the morning, so I'm going to say good morning. For some of you that are abroad or a foreign, coming on a foreign, some of you guys are dealing with nighttime, evening time, or whatever. Much love and peace and light to you. But I wanted to come. I'm actually making lunch brunch, breakfast and lunch, and it's soup. It's gonna be soup and salad. But I wanted to come and I wanted to talk to you guys about meds. So I've come on here and I've expressed what meds are you taking? I've never really gone into I've gone into it, but not really how I wanted to, or I've touched upon it. So I kind of want to talk about controlled substances and access to them and how they're making how they're impacting my treatment. So I got hurt and I was already dealing with issues with my right hand, my right elbow, and then it ended up going into my shoulder and my neck. And it took me 5 years. It took me going to several psychologists to literally advocate for me and say, although I might be depressed, I might have anxiety, I have PTSD, I desperately need some type of narcotic to deal with my pain. Now, have I been on pain meds before? I have been on pain meds before. When I was in college, I just got really sick. I didn't know what it was. I was always out in and out the ER, and they gave me tramadol. And I was like, okay. And I would be like high and go to work. And I didn't really like that feeling because at the time I was a cashier. I was working at Burlington Coat Factory and I was a cashier. So I'm like, if I'm high and dealing with money, I just never felt comfortable. If I did another job and I was like Liddy, I wouldn't have gave a fuck. But dealing with money, it bothered me. Like there was one time somebody came to my register, they gave me like four counterfeit 20s and I felt like a fucking idiot. But at the same time, that was the same day I took my motherfucking tramadol. That's why I was like, oh no. But it was like, damned if you do and damned if you don't. So when I got the issue resolved, I had went to the surgeon. I was like, I know you said you don't want surgery, but I am telling you that you gonna cut me open and do the surgery. And they did, because I have a scar from the gallbladder right here. I'm not about to show you the other ones, but that scar right there was from my gallbladder. They took it out and I have never had issues since. Thank God. Thank the Lord. Okay. But further down the line, in the States here, they've cracked down on opioid treatment because of the epidemic, because so many people are overdosing. It is a high potential for abuse, and it is abuse. I mean, we're still dealing with people overdosing on fentanyl. Okay, literally. So, I mean, it is something that is discussed. Also, to the reason why I want to bring this topic out here is I am a black woman. It was very hard. Very, let me tell y'all how hard it was just for me to get on pain meds. It was hard. I had people saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. I've had providers, even my skin tone and darker, literally tell me, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. There's you don't have the medical documentation for it. They made all types of fucking excuses. Okay. It has been medically proven that black people, we deal with pain, but obviously to the world, it seems like we can deal with the pain, and that's not the case. I literally went 5 years before I actually got on pain meds. And the only reason I got on pain meds was because of the trauma to my knee. The trauma to my knee was so severe that just took the cake off. And not only that, having the right people in place to advocate. See, I want to talk to you, people of color who are struggling to get payments. You need to find people who are willing to advocate, who understand your situation so that you can get the treatment that's needed. There are a lot of people, even professionals. We had professionals abusing laughing gas back in the day. Nothing has really changed. You can look it up. In federal court, there was a practitioner or doctor at Yale Hospital that was taking people's meds. So they were doing surgery, taking people's meds, and getting high off a kite with, literally in federal court. You can look it up. So I'm trying to say I understand that there is a high level of abuse. I completely understand that. However, there are people like me, there are people maybe like you who are going through something, honest to God, going through something, honest to God, really in pain, honest to God, really cannot focus, concentrate, or sustain, and we're not getting the payments we need. Or you guys are not getting the payments you need. You're not getting the treatment you need. And so I wanted to come and I wanted to talk about this because there needs to be awareness when it comes to people of color and how we're treated in the medical community on both sides. Whether you're the practitioner or the physician, the doctor, the nurse, the psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever position you hold professionally, medically, and then as the patient, as the client. Because let me be honest with you, everybody, I don't give a who you are, whether you the doctor, whether you the retailer, everybody's going to be the patient. I've read medical records where doctors are patients. We have seen in the Rona. We had one black doctor out in the Midwest states. She couldn't even get pay meds. She had to advocate. She's like, I am a physician that does not give pay meds, but based on the medical documentation, based on the condition, based on my vitals, based on what is being medically presented, I should be receiving pay meds to alleviate the pain. And unfortunately, she died. This was at the beginning of this pandemic. So this is a issue and it needs to be brought to the forefront. It needs to be. There have been times, and I could even show you, I have scripts. Like I have an order that says I'm supposed to get payments and never got them. I've also spoken to someone, and this was very interesting. I was actually at the pharmacy, and this is a woman. I would have never assumed she had children. She was a whole grown woman. But she's one of the people, and she does fill my meds. And we were talking, and she's like, when she goes to the hospital, mind you, she's white. They give her Dilaudid. They give her some of the strongest morphine, some of the strongest pain meds. I'm on Vicodin. That's really, it's nothing, but it's something. In my situation, I understand why I'm on it, and we'll go a little further into that a little later on. But we were conversing, and she was like, you know, they think because her husband's black, is biracial, and she's white, oh, he beats on me, he abuses me. And she's like, I just had a medical problem that, you know, had nothing to do with my husband. And she had to go to, we have something in the States called patient relations. It's not everywhere. It's not at every hospital. It might even be different things at different hospitals, like patient advocacy, patient relations. But it's an office where patients can go and speak about the grievances they have between their professionals, their practitioners, and things of that nature. And basically, the patient advocacy or patient relations is the equivalent to an ombudsman, which is a Swedish term for someone that mediates issues within a system, place, or group or government, because you'll find a lot of ombudsmen in government. I actually wanted to be an ombudsman and still the fuck do. Like, that's my dream job. Like, it doesn't matter how much it pays. If I could be an ombudsman, I'm going to do it. So, no, I'm like pouring out my soup and a little bit of it fell. Okay. So there's that. We have to start doing better. There's too many of us that are struggling medically to get the services we need. I remember when I went to the emergency room for my knee, and this one woman, she was a black girl, black lady, around my age, and she was like, why y'all don't want to give out payments? Like, this is abuse. When I go to the ED, they don't give me payments. They give me a high level of ibuprofen, which don't do nothing. It don't do nothing. So there's that. That's the first thing. The second thing is controlled substances. I'm on two, technically United States, whatever controlled substances. One is the Vicodin. All pain meds, if you did not know, are coded. And the controlled substance list, I think it's like 1 through 4. Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4. I'm not sure where Vicodin falls. I do know that Tramadol falls under Schedule 4. Vicodin could fall under Schedule 3. Marijuana falls under Schedule 1. They've been trying to legalize the green, the tree, the weed here. In my state, because it's state by state, it's my meds. I have to get a license. Yeah, I do. I have to get a license to actually go get my meds from a dispensary. Now, let's break down dispensary, right? Dispensary, you can get meds dispensed. When people think about dispensary, they think about methadone. They don't think about marijuana. That's still a dispensary. But this is like an example of how my meds would come. And I have the sticker. It's faded. But this is the second controlled substance I take. Now, I have the pleasure now of growing my meds. I don't even have to mess with the pharmacist. But it's always nice to go and get, a little bit of tree, a little bit of green. Because I am so hungry. It's nice to get a little bit of tree or green, but the option of growing it. And yes, I do have an aero garden, and I've been saying I'm going to grow, but haven't yet. I will soon. Per state regulation and guidelines. My state where I am, it's legal and I can do that because I have my license. So in case y'all want to go and report me, if y'all do, trust and believe I'll pull out this license online. Don't play with me. I don't play that. I fought for my driver's license and got my driving privileges taken away. I fought for this marijuana license, and y'all ain't gonna take it away, okay? But I just had to be honest. So that's how it comes. I mean, I have tea bags. Yeah, little tea bags. Come in meds. My meds, you can get it in lubricant. It comes in many different forms for whatever you need. Creams, pills, the flour, the hash, whatever form you can think of. For the most part, it comes in. For the most part, there are restrictions, regulations, and rules. So there's that. There's also the fact that this is how I have to survive. Now, when I talk to people, especially professionals, I'd be like, yeah, I have to go take my drugs. I say drugs because they're drugs. Vicodin and marijuana are they're under schedules. Marijuana Schedule 1, Vicodin might be like Schedule 4, Schedule 3. So, I mean, these are drugs. There is a high risk of being dependent. With marijuana, I take a lot of tolerance breaks. So how I keep my tolerance where it's at, because there was one point where I was using that to cope and deal with the pain I was dealing with, and it was not helping. It was eating my pockets. But it just was not helping in the way pain meds help. When I'm on the pain meds and when I'm on my marijuana, I notice a difference. Now, I will tell you that the marijuana and the Vicodin, they exacerbate certain symptoms like sleepiness, like drowsiness, like euphoria. There are going to be certain symptoms, and that is why I have to be mindful how I take these meds, because I do things like pool therapy. Like there was one time I went to pool therapy, I was so loopy and out of it. But this was at the beginning. And then I went to the pharmacist. You can go to your pharmacist and they'll always ask you when you get your meds, do you have any questions? If you have any questions, ask the pharmacist. If there's any adverse interactions, if there's any contradictions, which I always say that word wrong, please, you can correct me. But if there's any adverse reactions, if you have a med interaction with any one of your meds, you should ask the doctor, you should, or the pharmacist, see what they say, okay, and then go from there. The pharmacist is going to know how it's going to impact your body and then tell you things you can do, or maybe suggest medications that you can have your doctor prescribe, or they may call and based off of what you're presenting, they might say, hey, prescribe um can you prescribe this med? Like for instance, I'm gonna be really candid. I got constipated. You're like, let me tell y'all something. I've been in the medical field. I've seen some shit in my day. The one thing I will always say, be thankful that you can shit. You don't want to shit in a bag. Trust me, you don't want to shit in a bag. Be thankful that you can sit on a porcelain toilet, sit wherever you can sit and use the bathroom. Now, I got constipated because that's what pain meds do. I was talking to my case manager, who's a nurse, who manages some of my care, and she's like, have you asked the doctor to write you a pill for you being constipated? Basically, get a prescription version of X-Lax. I said no. I said the reason for that is I'm already on enough medications as it is. I shit y'all not. For me to have and then some of these medications, they actually make me go. So I'm like, I really don't, and then hormones, I'm still menstruating. Okay. And obviously when you menstruate, that also impacts um, um, your hormones impact your stool, how you pass your stool. And no one likes period shits. No one likes those, but we have them. So I just said I'll change the way I eat. I've had to change. I've had to make certain lifestyle changes, granted, because it just is what it is for my situation. But I've made these. But I say all of this to say I'm not going to take a pill for constipation. But that was suggested to me. That was offered to me. And I know I could have probably gotten it, but I'm just not going to go there. So I chose to change my eating habits so that they can properly reflect in my body. And it has. Are there times that I get constipated? Yeah, I do. Are there times that I'm going to be constipated? Yeah, I am. But guess what? It is what it is. I'm going to deal with it as it comes. I'm not ashamed of it. It's a part of taking pain meds. But it's a lifestyle change. Also, too, you guys are like, so you're on pain meds. Does it take all the pain away? No, it doesn't take all the pain away. When I smoke, it doesn't take all the pain away. I am still going to be in pain. It'll take the edge off. It'll make me be able to focus and function a little better, but it's not going to take all the pain away. That I've been new, and that's something that the doctors kind of really express. Psychologists, psychiatrists, all of that. They're like, it's not going to take all your pain away. I understand that, but whatever this edge is, it's got to go. Okay. So, you guys that are dealing with issues getting pain meds or having to do other alternatives like smoke. Some of you guys might be getting your meds, different type of meds off the street because you're not getting the help or the assistance through the system that's supposed to help you. That's actually hindering a lot of people from making the progress towards healing that they need to make. So, in terms of controlled substances, pain meds, I wanted to come to bring awareness. The awareness is, yes, there's a high potential of me being addicted, but I want y'all to understand you have to have the mentality of this is my meds. I take them when I need them, and when I don't, I just don't. There are some people I've watched they're on the marijuana program, and it's like when they don't get their meds, they're flipping the hell out. And I'm like, that's a good thing, that's a bad thing. You should always have self-control. You should always be able to regulate. That's what Warren G kept saying, regulate. That was the whole song, regulate yo shit. A lot of people don't have, in order to take tolerance breaks, because a lot of folks, when they smoke, they tolerance break comes because they pockets tell them they need a tolerance break. Otherwise, they don't take a tolerance break. No matter what meds you take, even on my pain meds, I take a tolerance break. Why? I'm going to tell you. Because your body is going to build up a therapeutic dose, whatever that is. And when you start to get to that therapeutic dose, it ain't gonna hit the same way it used to hit at the lower dose. So you have to titrate it. You have to titrate means, either go up or go down. In this case, a lot of people tend to titrate up, go higher, because that therapeutic dose that they had at first, it was working, it was good, but it's not working the same way. And that's another thing about my conversation that I want to bring about, the mentality that you need to have when you're on these meds. There are people that I know. I know someone close to me. She deals with chronic pain. And I'm not saying nothing bad about her, but it got to the point where she would crush her pain meds and snort them. And that right there is where I drew the line. I will not do that. No matter how much pain I'm in, I will not be injecting no medication unless it's through the hospital IV, and I will not be sniffing no medication. I don't like that. That is such a turnoff. Anybody that sniffs a line, that right there, you're opening the door to something. If you're gonna sniff your pain meds, that's opening the door for you to sniff cocaine, sniff crack, sniff whatever, sniff whatever you need to sniff. I don't do that. Yes, it hits the bloodstream a lot faster, but I do not believe in using that method in order for you to get relief. Unless you're like damn near dying, fine. Outside of that, no. And so meeting people who are similar like me, who are on pain meds, who are, on more than one controlled substances, a lot of them do abuse it because a lot of them don't want to acknowledge their problem. I'm going to tell you something. When I get high, my problems are not going to go away. When I take my pain meds, my pain doesn't go away. So I know that. And because I know that on an emotional level, because it has to take emotional intelligence, I'm not going to sit here and abuse something. Why am I going to take more meds knowing that it's not going to work? At some point, you can only take but so much meds. You can only smoke but so much weed before it's just not helpful anymore. Before it's not beneficial anymore. Before it's no longer cathartic. It becomes more of a, instead of it helping you, it becomes a hindrance. So, I want you to keep these things in mind. If you're going through a struggle, make sure you get organized. Make sure if you have been on pain meds in the past, you get your shit together and you get a game plan and you talk to your psychiatrist and your psychologist and you say, okay, this works, this doesn't work. This is how I felt with this. This is how I felt with that. And then after you go from there, after you take that to the psychologist, then you ask the psychologist to take it to the pain doctor, pain management, so that you can get the help that you need, so that you can get the support that you need. Some of you guys, you might need to ask for a nurse. Maybe your health insurance has someone that can do case management, like a nurse that does case management, or there are services that you can pay for, private pay, in which a nurse will help advocate. A nurse will be your patient advocate for you through private pay. I hope that this experience helps. I hope that by me talking about controlled substances in this light, it opens your eyes and illuminates you to the fact that there are people like me that can take controlled substances, that can take them how they're supposed to, that can function properly. And then there are a lot of people, because they don't want to deal with their hurt, their trauma, their issues, they use drugs as escape. I can't use marijuana and Vicodin as an escape. I use it to help me. I can't escape my problems. I have to just deal with them. And I hope that you too will deal with your problems face on. So my little minions, I'm sorry this was such a long talk, but I just had to just break it down so you guys have an understanding. I hope that you take care of yourself, do something nice for yourself today, and advocate for yourself. Always advocate. Always open your mouth and advocate for yourself. When you first start to advocate, no one's going to be in your corner. But the more you keep advocating, the more you're going to gain people in your corner, the more you're going to gain momentum, the more you're going to gain support. So, with that being said, I'm going to eat my lovely brunch. Much love, much peace, much light. Okay? Shine in your light. Know that you are a star. Know that you are important. Whatever you are going through, you will make it through. My little minions. Bye. Ta ta.